Folks, you have joined me and Danielle in mid-rant, and we will then share the rant with you. I pivoted from the framing that I was gonna do with Danielle Moody, of my fabulous co-host of Democracy-ish, who is also the editor of the fantastic Damn Digest. Like me, she's a terrible capitalist. Please go subscribe if you're a Left Hook subscriber. Everything is free. And then also, she's on the YouTubes at Danielle Moody. We have to get her to 50,000 subscribers. It goes a long way. But the framing of today is, do you feel great, America?
Mm.
Do you? And I'm sorry, let me be petty. I'm going to just set the table with just some data that came out just today, Danielle, and then I want us to talk about it. I was told that Donald Trump is a brilliant businessman. He has mastered the art of the deal, even though this man has a lifetime of effing up. Multiple bankruptcies, was given over $400 million by his rich daddy, squandered it, was rehabilitated, thanks to Deutsche Bank, probably Russian money. I think the compromat, if it exists, it's all about the money. Thanks to The Apprentice, where the Trump Towers was a complete shithole and they had to come in and make it look fancy, right? This is a man during his first term. Yes, he was president the first time, but America's so dumb and reckless, has amnesia. They're like, let's get that guy who tanked the U.S. economy. And who lied to us during COVID, and more than 1 million Americans died. Let's bring him back. He'll make everything great again.
Mhm.
Okay, so this dumbass country says, all right, we could have a competent, intelligent black Indian woman. You know, she has her faults. We can criticize her, no problem. But you know what? She won't do stupid shit like an unnecessary trade war with her allies. She won't unleash massed armed ICE agents that now terrorize white people and priests and go after schools. She won't dismantle the Department of Education, the National Institute of Health. She won't, give the billionaires tax cuts at the expense of Medicaid. This is just the top of my head. But America said, oh, no, no, no. But my grocery prices, inflation. So, okay, here is some data that came out today. I'm just going to give you these three, Danielle, and then you take it away. U.S. grocery prices hit record high as monthly cost for a family of four reaches. Want to take a guess? Monthly cost for a family of four. Take a guess.
Monthly costs? I mean,
U.S.
I'm
grocery
gonna
prices, record high monthly cost for a family of four for groceries.
huh, let's see. I know what I pay. It's 250, 300.
1,050.
Oh, I'm sorry, what?
$1,000, $1,050
A
for
week?
a month for a family of four. Record.
A
Pri
thousand wow.
Yeah, wow. Specifically, Fox News shatters Trump's approval myth, admits to viewers that his approval rating has plummeted to a low 38%. They've given him 9 months and things haven't really improved. But Donald Trump said everything's going fine, everything's great, the job market's great, the stock market's great, 401ks. Well, 1 hour ago, the U.S. Labor Department has announced that it is canceling the October jobs report. For the first time since 2013, we will not be receiving a monthly jobs report. And then I'll just throw in one more. We talked about grocery prices, we talked about the jobs report, we talked about his approval ratings. AI was going to save us. AI and NVIDIA, they're going to save the day, save the day, save the day. Danielle, can you tell people what's happening within NVIDIA and AI and the stocks and what the oligarchy is doing to their AI stocks right now?
Well, SoftBank, which had a $5.3 billion investment into NVIDIA, as well as Peter Thiel's own company, which had millions of shares, they've all dumped them in the last like week. Let's see, they began the dumping November 11th, the day after my birthday. So it's been a week that they've been quietly dumping. And when I say dumping, I'm talking about SoftBank availed themselves of all of them, like dumped all of their stock, right?
Peace
Uh,
out.
Peter Thiel dumped majority, I think like three-quarters of his stake in Nvidia, as well as a significant portion of his stake in Tesla. And yesterday, I posted this on my Instagram stories for those of you that follow me on Instagram. AOC gave a rousing speech during a committee hearing, cautioning, right?
I
Uh,
have it. I had
oh,
it
you have
primed
it?
up. This is
Okay.
why Danielle and I see
Right. I swear.
this.
I'm like cautioning the United States government not to bail out AI companies as this bubble is going to get to burst. And who is it going to shit on? All of us, because you know what they didn't use, Wash, for the AI expansion? They didn't use their own money. No, they got in bed with the federal government, and the federal government is using our money, right? And so now what we are seeing is that AI is not cracked up to be what it is that they all told us that it was going to be. And so AOC is cautioning we cannot do with AI companies what we did with the banks in the early 2000s in terms of bailing them out because they were quote unquote too big to fail. Um, yeah,
Okay, so I have the quote, and this is why we're in sync
please.
from people who, for our democracy is shows, I create a timeline. So Danielle can bring the tweets, the photos, the videos. But other than that, for this, we're just like press play. And this is why we're in sync, because literally it was not telegraphed. I did not prime or Danielle that I was going to go here. But before Danielle was even going to say this, I brought up AOC's video and quote. And I want to quote her because I've
Yep.
also shared it. Quote, Trump has been saying that the economy is booming, but it's really only seven tech companies. They're driving this growth in just one sector, AI. So the entire economic growth, this is an AOC quote from yesterday, can be tracked down to seven companies and their AI expansion. 40% of economic growth is attributed to these companies alone, and 80% of stock gains this year came from AI companies. People are justifying these levels of investment because of the promises CEOs make. Oh, AI, that's the future. Everything will be AI, that there will be a return on that investment. For a company like OpenAI, their valuation is based on the expectation that they're
Yep.
going to figure out how to make a profit off of this, and they haven't, which is why for the past 2 years, I've called it inshallah money that I should trademark
Yep.
that. Generating this increased human dependency that can be mined, people's deepest fears, emotional content can all be mined for this empty promise that we're getting from these companies in the pursuit of profit. The reason I bring all of this up is that the exposure of this industry and this investment, I fear, has reached broad levels of the American economy. That's right, they're now interlinked with the government, too big to fail. Going back to our quote, we're talking about 40% of growth being attributed to that sector alone and has not turned a profit. We're talking about a massive economic bubble. Depending on the exposure of that bubble, we could be facing 2008 style threats to economic stability, end quote. And right before I jumped on with you, I posted this on Blue Sky. So when is the AI bubble going to burst and how much is it going to cost the rest of us? We're going to bail these assholes out just like we did in 2008 and just like we will with the crypto burst, which will happen in the near future. Danielle.
I mean, but look, I was saying this earlier today with Jared. There's a reason why we call all of these economic situations bubbles, right? Because they blow hot air into society and tell us that these great new things are going to be amazing, right? But they don't what we don't realize and what they forget to tell us is that they are gambling with our money. They are
Yep.
gambling with our tax dollars. And so for us to be able to pay back all of the hot air, all of the bursting that happens, what do? They cut our social safety nets and they tell us that we just need handouts. Oh, well, America, you should be able to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Meanwhile, they took the straps and they took our fucking feet. So we don't even have a need for shoes anymore. So the reality is everything that AOC is saying is right. As soon as I saw what is his name? Masayoshi of SoftBank. As soon as I saw that, I'm like, why isn't this bigger news? Because first was the dumping. It was only in like the far corners of the internet. It wasn't even being covered by the CNBCs or the Yahoo Money or anything like that yet until a week later, right? Then all of a sudden it's just like, oh, well, they're just hedging their bets because he needs to liquidate Masayoshi so that he can double down in AI. And I'm like, that's not what's happening. They are seeing the cliff coming, and to protect their own asses and their assets, right? They are pulling back now. And it's the same fucking thing. It's the Big Short all over again. It's the same thing that they did with housing. It's the same thing that they did with the .coms. And it's rinse and repeat with new technology and new industries every fucking 5 to 10 years. Rinse and repeat. Oh, you went.
Crypto. I said crypto is a Ponzi scheme. It wasn't my word. That was
Yep.
Jamie Dimon said. Jamie Dimon called it a Ponzi scheme. And then last month he said, oh, well, I was wrong about it. Why? Because Donald Trump is grifting in office. And because him and his rich friends are all into crypto, he passed the first pro crypto legislation, the Genius Act. He pardoned CZ of Binance, a money launderer who has helped him and his friggin' Tweedledee, Tweedledum, friggin' corrupt as F family make nearly $5 billion off of crypto. His stupid meme coin, Melania's meme coin, another pump and dump scheme, right? He sold access to himself. People forget this. Remember that? He said, whoever buys the most Trump coin, I'm going to invite them to the White House. Whoever buys the most, I'm going to
Yep.
give them a private tour, right? I mean, it is obscene. And that now crypto is so integrated with Donald Trump, the president of the United States of America, which means it's integrated now with our American institutions, that when it fails, and it's just a matter of time, folks, it's a big ass Ponzi scheme. What has crypto done for the majority of people, right? They
Nothing.
keep inflating it, inflating. It's a matter of when, not if. I hope I'm wrong. I don't think I am. So it'll probably be after Trump leaves office, right? Because he's going to keep pumping into it to keep it alive to make money off it. But eventually, when that fails, what they're going to say to us is, guys, crypto is too big to fail.
Yep.
I mean, so much of our country depends on it. So many of our institutions listen. We've invested so much in AI. We've invested so much in crypto. We've invested so much in Starlink. We've invested so much in Palantir. They're too big to fail. We can't hold these people accountable. We're going to have to bail them out. And all these mother effers did the same thing. You and me are old enough in 2008. The moment, look, you can call out people, folks. You can call out Democrats as well. Democrats are also complicit. Larry Summers is part and parcel of this rehabilitation, right? Bernanke, all these folks, Obama, let's be honest. Obama, instead of engaging in that type of bold reform, what did they do? Restoration. And the people who restored it were the same people
Who
who are
fucked
part
it
of
up?
it's the same ecosystem. They're all part of the same oligarchy. To quote George Carlin, it's a big club and you ain't in it. However, I do think, Daniel, this time around, they're going to do it, folks. They've effed up. They'll F it up. They'll bail us out. I think they're misunderestimating, to quote George W. Bush, the wrath of the people. I see a shift, Danielle.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The language of oligarchy is mainstream. The language of the broligarchy is mainstream. The corruption is so naked, where Donald Trump is openly throwing Great Gatsby parties and giving $40 billion bailouts to his buddies Mile, and there's a line at the food bank here in Virginia. I don't think people will take it. And I think that there's growing rage against these billionaires. And check this out, to connect it to Saudi Arabia and how everything is for sale. Elon Musk and Nvidia's Jensen Huang said that they are teaming up with Saudi Arabia's artificial intelligence company, Humain, to build a data center. And also yesterday, when MBS was visiting, guess who was there with them at that dinner? Elon Musk. And
Musk
guess who
and
else was
who?
there? David Ellison.
Mm-hmm.
David Ellison, super Zionist, hardcore, gonna do a blacklist of all pro-Palestinian activists, Javier Bardem and Melissa Barrera, and Larry Ellison's Nepo son, biggest single donor to IDF. These Muslims, terrorists, extremists. Oh, we want to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. And guess who they want to buy Warner Brothers Discovery with? Saudi Arabia. And I want to say this before I give it to you. I was on Piers Morgan earlier today because I'm a masochist. Two things. Very interesting. It was the first time in 2.5 years that the panel of right wing freaks, Buck Sexton and Chris Rufo and Piers Morgan, they all agreed with me and Anna Kasparian about about Epstein, which shows to me they see where the wind is blowing. They're like, yeah, they should release the Epstein files. Now, the disagreement was towards the end. This is what the disagreement was, and we ran out of time. I, the only Muslim on the panel, Daniel, called out MBS for his record of human rights abuses, the red wedding, the consolidation of power that was done thanks to the blessing of the Trump administration, the fact that he gave Jared Kushner $2 billion, the fact that he has terrorized women activists who want human rights, the fact that he has engineered this crisis and this famine in Yemen, the fact that he ordered the dismembering of Jamal Khashoggi. And I said, maybe, just maybe, the president of the United States could not have, oh, I don't know, a literal red carpet for a murder. Maybe, just maybe, don't have jets flying over. Maybe, just maybe, don't have men on horses greeting him. Maybe, just maybe, don't be his friggin' consigliere, his PR agent, his attorney, and whitewash his crimes and attack U.S. journalists asking valid questions about Jamal Khashoggi. Guess who came in and intervened in favor of Saudi Arabia and Saudi Arabian money and Saudi Arabia gobbling up our assets and our resources? The two MAGA Republicans. To which I said, and I wish I had some more time, I've been waiting 24 years for Republicans to renounce Islamophobia and bigotry. Who would have thought it would? Now they're pro-Islam and pro-Muslims, are perfectly fine with Muslims taking over America, and oh, they were pissed off at that, and then the show ended. But reconcile all of this. Can you please, Danielle, reconcile?
I mean,
You're
here's the
against
thing.
Mamdani, Rashida Tlaib,
Right.
me, Muslims, but come on in MBS and buy up America.
Right. Because the thing is, they love a Muslim that is wealthy, right? And powerful. That's what they love. They worship wealth and power. And I swear to God, the way that fucking MBS has Trump and that entire family on a motherfucking leash, it is disgusting. His whole what he said yesterday in the Oval Office when the reporter Mary Bruce asked about the fact that like families of 9/11 are disgusted by the fact that MBS is sitting here knowing that his money, his family was behind, right? Helped to fund 9/11, the largest terrorist attack on American soil since Pearl fucking Harbor. And oh, by the way, we also know through our own American intelligence that you are responsible for the murder and the dismemberment of an American citizen, Jamal Khashoggi. Like, and Donald Trump's response to that was, oh, some people didn't like him and some people get what they get. Are you fucking nuts? Like, and this idea, again, New York Post, right wing New York Post, called New York City Zoranistan and said that we're going to have Sharia law and all of these things. Why? Because he's a democratic socialist that believes in economic equity and also wants universal health care. So if you are if you are a Muslim and you are progressive and you want all people to have, you're a terrorist. But if you are a Muslim and you are an actual terrorist, but you are rich, then you get the red carpet rolled out for you. Right? This is how you see these people have no fucking integrity. They are fucking soulless and they are ghouls. It is disgusting. I was watched yesterday when I saw the images and I saw Mary Bruce and I was seething
Yeah,
yesterday. Seething.
absolutely.
Because I'm like, this is an open air fucking grift. And you are fucking gurgling this man's dick right now in front of the American people so that he gives you more, right? He already gave Jared Kushner $2 billion after he walked out of the White House in Donald Trump's first term. Never investigated. Never looked into, not by our flaccid fucking Merrick Garland and the Biden administration, but you want to talk about a laptop for 10 fucking years, but we're not going to talk about a $2 billion payoff? Like,
Oh,
I
also,
just, it's a,
well, Danielle, the $2 billion to Jared Kushner for his firm from these Gulf states, the $1.5 billion to Steve Witkoff and his son, who's part of the Trump administration, also the existing property deals the Trump family has with Saudi Arabia, also the fact that Saudi Arabia has promised investment but really hasn't given us any details. And so the White House under Trump, I said this under Trump's first administration, I'll say it again, is an ATM. Everything and anyone is for sale. And also this, and I said this to the panel, and I mentioned them all by name. I said Buck, uh, Piers, Anna, the other piece of shit, Chris Rufo. I said, you know what? You're for sale too. Because suppose you go to Saudi Arabia or you go to Qatar, and suppose, I don't know, these conservatives said something about Qatar. Because, by the way, Trump did. Trump said Qatar supports terrorism. Qatar is funding Hamas. Anyone who does business with Qatar is terrorist, right? I worked for Al Jazeera America. Mehdi Hassan worked for Al Jazeera English. They've been calling us Hamas and terrorists for 24 years. But guess what? If Qatar gives you a $400 billion jet, $400 million jet, everything's forgiven. If Qatar has business deals with you and says, we're going to have a Trump Tower in Doha, you go ahead and build an Air Force facility in Idaho. It's all good. So if these mother effers go missing, right? Suppose they go to Qatar and they go missing, they disappear. I would be the one saying, hey, 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 President Trump, this racist right wing piece of shit who I hate, I don't care, is an American. Bring him back. What Donald Trump showed the world yesterday, yet again, is he will sell out Americans. All Qatar would have to do, or say Saudi Arabia, is say, sorry about Jamal Khashoggi, a U.S. journalist that killed and dismembered. Here's some money. And not only will Donald Trump say, I accept
Hey.
your money,
Yep.
what he did yesterday, guys, the reason why it was so disgusting, he went out of his way to
Yep.
gaslight the world.
Yep.
He went out of his way to lie. Even MBS doesn't lie about it. He goes, I'm sorry. Oh, because during Donald Trump's first administration, it was already investigated that MBS ordered the murder and dismemberment of Jamal Khashoggi. That's why MBS doesn't sit there and say no. But Donald Trump is so shameless. He intervened, mocked Mary Bruce of ABC, ridiculed her a day after ridiculing the other Bloomberg reporter and calling her a shut up piggy, quiet piggy. And he lied to cover up for MBS. Then he threw Jamal Khashoggi under the bus. I don't know. Some people didn't like him, kind of like justifying his murder and
Yeah. Like,
dismemberment.
oh, that's what I'm like, motherfucker, a lot of people don't like you, and I'm not calling for your fucking murder and dismemberment
And
because
the
you know
third
I'm not a ghoul.
And the third thing that he did, which was even worse, whitewashing MBS. He's fantastic on human rights. Did you catch that? No, he's great on human rights. He did. So, folks, it was so painful for me to sit there and see our president give a
Yep.
red carpet
Yep.
to this tyrant, fly over, Saudi flags, American flags, people mounted on horses, and then have our president give him verbal fellatio. Maybe he's Bubba, MBS is Bubba, and then attack our journalists for standing up for a U.S. journalist that the entire world and RCI under his administration said was killed by MBS and dismembered by him. Sorry for my rant.
I mean, no, because the obscenity of this cannot get lost on us. We cannot become numb to this. We cannot say, oh, well, that's just, that's how things are done. It is not. It was gross. It was obscene. It was disgusting. And I tell you, and I said this yesterday on social media. I forget what outlet I said, but Donald Trump has turned America into the world's whore. Like, that is what America has become. Right? We will open up for any fucking body that throws money at Donald Trump's feet. So whether you're bringing and slapping a gold brick on his desk like Switzerland did, whether you're bringing him a fucking clock like Cook did, whether you're just like, here, king, here, king, here, king, I'm giving you whatever it is that you want. And then he falls all over himself for Saudi Arabia, knowing that he's suckling on his, like, I'm so fucking sick of these people. I am so sick of them, and the image of Elon Musk and Larry Ellison and fucking Donald Trump and all of these people sitting in that gaudy fucking room made me sick, and it should make every single American sick.
It's I think what you saw yesterday, and I think this is why there's an opening here. And this is why we're in for a lot of gaslighting. We're in for a lot of madness, and we're in for a lot of destruction. What you're seeing, I think, with the dinner, Elon Musk, David Ellison, Donald Trump, these Republicans I was on earlier today, perfectly fine with Saudi Arabia buying up everything. They're like, that's fantastic. Yeah, Saudi Arabia, folks, you can gaslight me. I'm a Muslim American. I survived the post-war on terror. I've seen what they did to Zoran Mamdani, what they've done to me, Mehdi Hassan, Adil Manji, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, the anti-Sharia bullshit, all the Islamophobia, all the anti-Muslim bigotry, all the hateful conspiracy theories. But hey, Qatar gives money, all good. Saudi Arabia gives money, all good. And what you see is a common thread with the Epstein files and what's happening is the rich are getting richer, everyone's getting poorer. To quote George Carlin, it's a big club and you ain't in it. The billionaires are grifting and we're suffering. The oligarchy is drinking all of our milkshake. It's a big club and you ain't in it. And we talked about this last time, Danielle. The rich are their own tribe. And
Yep.
I've said this before, I'm 45 years old. I've traveled. I've been in a few of these spaces, seeing these super rich people, uh, regardless of ethnicity, regardless of gender, regardless of religion. The rich are their own tribe. I'll give you another example. I don't know if I shared this with you. A few weeks ago, I was at a friend's house. He's very wealthy. He's done really well for himself. He goes, man, I was in Saudi Arabia for business. You know who I was sitting next to? This is just 3 weeks ago. I said, who? Bill Ackman. I'm like, Bill Ackman, the insane Zionist,
Zionist
right
was in
wing,
Saudi Arabia.
anti-Palestinian. Yep, he's got business in Saudi Arabia. Sat there, Bill Ackman in Saudi Arabia. David Ellison, insane right-wing Zionist who now has a boycott list of anyone in the entertainment industry who is pro-Palestinian. I'm not making that up. Who's already gobbled up Paramount and CBS, and now is going in with Saudi Arabia to gobble up Warner Brothers and Discovery. And then you look at the Epstein files. All of these wealthy, powerful men, Democrats and Republicans, who had no problem cavorting with a known convicted pedophile. And this is where I get to Democrats, because we try to be fair. I'm going to have Jared on in 15 minutes. I want to talk to Jared about this. But Larry Summers, I tweeted this out, folks, right before Danielle came on, because I want to keep receipts. Larry Summers is a piece of shit. Many of us have been saying he's a piece of shit. Larry Summers was unleashed by the Democrats, Danielle, along with Bill Clinton, to take out Zoran Mamdani. Larry Summers is one of the conciliaries for the Democratic establishment's Project 2029, with all the establishment Democrats, right, who helped Kamala Harris lose her election. Larry Summers, folks, is an economist. Larry Summers is a liberal. Larry Summers is a guru in Harvard. That Larry Summers is also on the board of the center-left or liberal think tank Center for American Progress that I have written for. That Larry Summers was talking to Jeffrey Epstein regularly up to the point where Epstein was arrested. Larry Summers was married, and he was asking, can't make this shit up, Jeffrey Epstein advice on women, and specifically a mentee that he wanted to bang. And as of the past 2 days, something that rarely happens, some form of accountability. Larry Summers is retreating from public life. A Harvard student said she walked past his office, it's empty. But the post that I did right before you came on, Danielle, was the following. Hey, hey, hey. Has anyone followed up if the Democratic establishment, Project 2029, and Center for American Progress have publicly renounced ties with Larry Summers? So far, no. Danielle, it's a big club. Your take.
So far, he has resigned from the board of OpenAI. He has been forced to resign from Harvard. And I believe what I saw yesterday was kind of this like mealy mouth statement from Center for American Progress that said that has been an esteemed fellow, but no longer. But they have not come out in like a full rebuke, right? They're allowing him to be able to resign from these places, and kind of just like that image of Homer Simpson going into the bush, like that is Larry Summers right now. But the fact is that we have to understand that pedophilia should not be a partisan issue, that the treatment and mistreatment of girls and women and abuse of girls and women should not be a partisan issue. I don't give a fuck if Larry Summers was the Treasury Secretary for Bill Clinton and economic advisor for Obama. What I care about is the fact that these systems that are put together to protect the wealthy, the white, and the powerful men, that allows them to they continue to do their worst, right? Because, oh, they're geniuses. Based on whose opinion? Do you know what I'm saying? Like Larry Summers, oh, he's the architect of the fucking bailout. Thank you so much, right? For the continuation of the fucking up of our economy, right? Like, thank you so much for your failure of imagination that took an opportunity to reshape our economy so that it actually worked for all of us. Instead, right, allowed us to bail out the people that are probably, again, he's getting money from, just like the other Democrats are getting money from. I just
By
think
the way,
that
I have an update. I asked that question because I didn't have time to. I sincerely asked if these people have gotten rid of him. I didn't know the answer. I didn't have time to research. I jumped on. A snarky, blue, no matter who Democrat said, just do some basic research, Waj. Yesterday, apparently last night, Cap formally said that he's no
that's what
longer
I said.
involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Project 2029 said that he's no longer advising them. But at the same time, Danielle, you know how this town works. I know how this town works. He is embedded. He is part and parcel of the centrists and the
Yeah, which
establishment.
means that they're not going to publicly have him. It no longer provides them with elite status to have him on their websites, right? As distinguished fellow, as advisor, blah, blah. But do we think that Larry Summers goes away completely? No, I don't. I don't think that he goes away completely because he's like a fucking barnacle on the Democratic establishment, And again, this is why I say the whole shit has got to be brought down. All of it has to be brought down because regardless of what party, what letter you have behind your name, they are all taking money from the same people. They are all covering up for the same people, right? And they're all protecting each other because I think that your assessment was of the wealthy having their own tribe, right, is absolutely true. I just want to give a cultural a point of reference. Pharrell, right? Pharrell Williams, rapper who is was a rapper, famous producer who is the head of Louis Vuitton Men, right? Creative director for Louis Vuitton Men,
Yep.
literally was at a black media event, and when asked about politics said, "Oh, I don't have anything to do, with politics whatsoever." And then went so far as to say people who are qualified should have the jobs and not just people who, you shouldn't just get a job because you're black. I'm sorry, what the fuck did you just say? The person who made your entire career off of black fans, right? The person who LVMH wanted to promote because of your cultural, you being a cultural fucking touchstone. Like you are a fucking sellout. And that's what you realize when I saw, look, I never slander Beyonce. I never do because I love her. Why are you and Jay-Z sitting at the same fucking dining table as Ivana Trump and her fucking husband Jared Kushner, right? Like, why? Right? Like, and so when you see an Oprah Winfrey at Jeff Bezos's wedding,
Gail King.
when you see them all at Kris Jenner's recent birthday party that was held at Jeff Bezos' mansion, when you see Jeff Bezos has now taken over the Met and he's now going to be underwriting, right? The big cultural fashion event next year, right? In order so that his fucking, let me just pause because I have nothing good to say about his wife. Um, you see the way that they put their fucking, like, just tentacles and their claws into everything. And once they arrive at this place, they abandon all of their responsibility to the communities that actually got them to where they are supposed to be. And they are so happy to be welcomed into, right, the billionaire club, so happy to be welcomed into, right, these walls of power. And then dispose of the rest of us. And that is all of the people that I named. I remember when I'm old enough to remember when Amazon sold books. I'm old enough to remember when Jeff Bezos, we were excited that he took over the Washington Post because we thought he was a Democrat. I remember when Oprah was like, offering critical conversations. And now I'm reminded you brought us Dr. Oz, Dr. Phil, and all of these fucking charlatans. Like, that's who Oprah platformed, right?
She's a billionaire, Danielle. She's a billionaire. The rich are their own tribe. I've been lucky enough to get a courtside seat to some of their events. I've had a foot in this world throughout my career, and then they always kick me out, which is great. Through CNN, New York Times, a few invites to Aspen. I have said this before on our show. I'll say it again. They all party at the same locations. They go to the same churches and synagogues. They go to the same golf clubs. They date each other. They F each other. They cheat on each other. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. And I'll also tell people something that might be painful for them to hear. And I was talking to Mike Nellis for the first time. Going back full circle, the town protects its own. The tribe protects its own. The tribe is money, politics, and media. That's
Yep.
the tribe. Those are the three
Yep.
species of the tribe, and they
Yep.
always protect their own. If you don't believe me, here's an example. Too big to fail. Here's another example. Some news from today that Joe Biden will go to the funeral of Dick Cheney. Kamala Harris and Biden, what they said about Dick Cheney, a war criminal. All of those neocons who engineered and decided it was a choice to do the war on terror. Every single one of them, in my opinion, was a war criminal. Every single one failed up in life, Danielle. All of them, the
All of
journalists,
them.
the academics, all the left wing and right wing hacks, all the elected officials, the neocons, Rumsfeld, Cheney. None of them had any accountability. They all failed up. The 2008 economic crisis, they all failed up. And I want people to just, I hope I'm wrong about this, but I'm just trying to prepare you. We demand accountability. You should demand accountability. People should be in jail for what's happening right now. The economic malfeasance, who transferred Ghislaine Maxwell, who ordered the arrest and detention of all these innocent immigrants, U.S. citizens, right? All of this stuff should be investigated and prosecuted. Very few, if any, will go to jail. They'll all fail up. And then you say, Wad, you're too cynical. And I give you, and I know you only have a few minutes left, but this story is just fascinating to me. Olivia Nuzzi. Olivia Nuzzi, a journalist,
Mm.
and I'll share
No,
with you.
a journalist.
Let me tell you all. I mean, it's wild. It's a 1 degree of separation. So Olivia Nuzzi, rising journalist, and everyone's wondering where this young girl, woman in her 20s, is getting these amazing gigs and profiles. All right, fine. And then you find out that she is dating Ryan Lizzo, who was of the New Yorker. Long story. I swear, I like it clicked late in life. When my wife and I had our first, well, she had her first baby, Ibrahim. The person I helped, I did like 35 seconds of work. She did 9 months of work. The person who did the first baby shower was Ryan Liz's first wife. She was a colleague of Sarah, like a doctor. And so we go to this house, and she's a really nice person. I meet Ryan Liz there for the first time. I'm like, cool. Later on, I always had like a front row seat to this. He then was with Nuzzy. I don't know if it was an affair or whatnot. And then the wife came to our house and we tried to make her feel better. And she's like a lovely lady who wasn't bitter and still was like kind to this guy who clearly has terrible choice, right? I'm like, what the F's happening, right? I'm like, oh shit, that Ryan Lizza. So Nuzzy was with Lizza. All right, everyone with me? She's all over the news. She's for New York Magazine. She is like 28, 29, political reporter for New York Magazine. She's covering RFK Jr. RFK Jr. is running for president. It's later revealed that she has an affair with RFK. First, we're like, she sent some nudies. Oh no, apparently full blown affair. I'm not judging. People make mistakes. But if you are a journalist, you cannot be having an affair with the presidential subject that you're covering. You have to say, I'm having an affair with this person. I cannot cover this person anymore. She kept on covering him, right? Later, it was revealed, and people said, oh, her career is over. She's a young woman, now
Nope.
32. Who's and all these white folks came out. I'm going to be blunt. All these people in part of the tribe came out. She's great. Everyone makes mistakes. Danielle and I have always said this on the show. Look who gets rehabilitated in America. Look who gets forgiven. Look who's a child, and look who's a criminal. Usually it's the melanin. I digress. All right. Now it's revealed. I don't know if you saw that Ryan Lizza did a friggin' he did a post on Substack that in 2020, while they were together, she was tasked with covering Mark Sanford, and allegedly, according to him, while covering him, had an affair with Mark Sanford. And then it was
Isn't
revealed
that the one
yesterday.
that disappeared
Yes,
because
yes,
he was
yep,
in an affair, because he was
yes,
away with his mistress and people thought
yes,
that he was like kidnapped?
yes. The Appalachian Trails, right? And then Keith
Wow.
Olbermann, when she was, I think, 17 or 18, he like was with her, and she like he furnished all of her like apartment and jewelry and all this stuff. And as this is happening, this woman, who, if it was God forbid Daniel who did this, she wouldn't, because Danielle ain't cray. Uh, Daniel will have no career. A black woman, a brown woman, done. Driving Uber, trying to make bills, trying to pay the bills. In less than a year, Olivia Nuzzi got hired by Vanity Fair, got a book deal, and got two puff pieces written in the New York Times and in Vanity Fair, which she wrote herself. Danielle.
I mean, I'm just look. When people want to get into nonsensical debates with regard to the fact that, oh, white privilege doesn't exist, I've worked for everything, blah, blah, blah. And then you lay out this story, and then people will make this a story about individualism. Oh, it's just her. No, it's not. It's every fucking industry that caters to whiteness, particularly pretty young white girls. And look, I'm going to say it. She fucked her way to the top. Like, if that is true, right? She went from Ryan, who was at New York Magazine, then she goes to another politician, right? And then she goes to a presidential candidate, and then she gets rewarded at Vanity Fair. Give me a fucking break. There is no woman, right, who is not white, who is not straight, who is not young, that would be given another opportunity over opportunity over opportunity again. Miss me with the bullshit on it. She's fucking gross and she should have no job. And it's amazing to me, you want to think about it. You want to think about what this country did to Monica Lewinsky versus Donald Trump, who was the predator in that situation, right? Who took advantage of a young woman, used his power to take advantage of a young woman. And you want to talk about how America destroyed her career. And then you turn around and you want to think like, oh, but look at Olivia. And miss me with it.
Anita Hill. Look at Anita Hill. Look at all
Yes,
the
sir.
MSNBC hosts of color. Look at Tiffany Cross. Look at Tamron Hall. Look at MHP, Melissa Harris Perry. Look at Joanne Reed. Folks, it's a big club. Look at the names that we said. Vanity Fair, New York Magazine,
Yep.
her publisher, Liza, Olbermann,
Yep.
allegedly Sanford, RFK Jr. It's a big club. Look at Saudi Arabia, MBS sitting there laughing it up. Look at all these Republicans who are perfectly fine promoting Islamophobia and anti-Muslim bigotry against Mamdani, me, Mehdi, Ali Velshi, Rashida Tlaib. But if you got the money, I love you and your Islam. Let me do a jig. Let me dance with swords. Let me throw out the red carpet. Look at them coming out and looking for Saudi money to gobble up all of our resources as Saudi Arabia is gobbling up golf and everything else, right? It's all for sale. The rich are getting richer. Everybody's getting poorer. And
Everyone
we
is getting
started, we
poor.
started with this question. I'll end with this question. Do you feel great again, America? Do you? And maybe, just maybe, you got played. Maybe you got played by the oligarchs. Maybe you got played by the war on pronouns and the woke and the transgender community. And last thing I'll tell you, Danielle, because I know you got to go. You've seen these videos now of Latino voters and Black voters. There's more and more of them coming out. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure you've seen it on Twitter and Blue Sky saying, dang, man, I didn't vote for this. Oh, my bad. Whoops.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel when you see, especially people of color, now saying, whoopsie, less than a year later?
Yeah, there are not enough seats for them to take. I don't give a fuck. It's just any person from a marginalized community and group that thought that their proximity to whiteness was going to somehow save them because they came in the country the right way, or they got their job the right way, or this, that, and the other thing. You were dumb. You were dumb. And you were fooled. You were sucker punched. But it's not even that, because the fact of the matter is, again, you want the power of whiteness. And when you are not white, and when you are not straight, and when you are not a male, it doesn't matter how much sucking up you do. You ain't never going to be invited into the country club unless you serve in the table.
Never ever. And also, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massey now are learning the hard way. And guess what? Face eating leopards love eating all faces, even MAGA faces, and they're eating each other's faces. Ben Shapiro versus Nick Fuentes. Laura Loomer yesterday, folks, not me and Danielle, Laura Loomer, who consults the president, said that the GOP has a Nazi problem. I didn't say it. Danielle didn't say it. Laura Loomer said it. Let them eat themselves. And the rest of us, I'm telling y'all, we have to go against the oligarchy. And I'll end on this. Don't let your party affiliation blind you. If there are Democrats in the Epstein files, Danielle, I said this earlier today on Piers' show. I'll say it again. I don't give. If it's proven that these men were complicit in the raping of girls, the trafficking of girls, and covering it up, I hope they burn in hell. If these people serve the oligarchy, then I'm not going to vote blue no matter who. I saw what you did against Mamdani. If you're
Yep.
perfectly fine sucking at the teat of the oligarchy and fascists, I don't both sides fascism. I don't both sides genocide. If you're going to sit there and be complicit with what Netanyahu and war criminals are doing, we need better leaders, and we need to clean house, and we need to be morally consistent. And I think we have to go against the oligarchy and the billionaires. And folks, if you don't believe me and Danielle, just trust the evidence of your eyes. They will throw us all under the bus to get rich. They will throw us all under the bus
100%.
to get paid. It's a big club, and none of us are in it. Danielle, shamelessly promote yourself.
Yes, my friend, my friend. Folks, please, Waj and I, as he says, we are terrible capitalists. I keep everything on the damn digest and also on my YouTube for free. So all you have to do is subscribe. But if you do have a few bucks, please do consider becoming a paid subscriber of the damn digest. I am people powered, which means that every dollar that you all offer up really allows me to do the work that I do, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to do it. But know that if you are not able to become a paid subscriber, know that you will never miss any bit of my content whatsoever, because that's where I believe critical thinking and democracy go to die. I am live at 5 p.m. Eastern, back here with the Danielle Moody Show, and on YouTube, again, trying to get to 50,000. So please go over there, subscribe. This is our midweek democracy-ish check-in. Waj and I are live on YouTube Monday and Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern.
And folks, there's 1,600 people who joined us. Thank you so much. We'll have this up later today in a few hours. Where if you missed any of it, don't worry. You'll get all the content for free. And like Danielle said, you'll get it for free because we're terrible capitalists. We're not stupid. I might be a little dumb, but we're not that dumb. We deliberately and intentionally keep it free because we believe people should be informed. So if you truly have a few bucks, we're independent. Please. Please, please. We depend on the kindness of strangers. Give it to Danielle first, and then give some to the left hook so I can feed one of my children. We'll be back Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on Damn Digest, on the left hook, and on Danielle Moody's Fantabulous YouTube channel. And I'll be back in 5 minutes with the man that Danielle cheating. She cheats on me
I
with him, but
keep
it's
saying
okay.
I cheat on just once a week.
I will allow this thruple, but only once a week. Jared Yates Sexton is joining me in 5 minutes, so come back. Thanks, Danielle. See you on Friday.
See you on Friday.